the anti-Cypher Harmonic Pattern Indicator, which is offered for various platforms on the TradingFinder website. From this section you can download the indicator file for MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5 platforms and run it on the chart. Traders can also read this page to learn about how the indicator works and its functionality. From the Navigator section, we select the indicator file and run the indicator by dragging the file onto the chart. Once the indicator is activated on the chart, it begins to detect and draw the anti-Cypher harmonic pattern on the price chart. Traders who are looking to identify this pattern on the chart can use the anti-Cypher harmonic pattern indicator to detect it, and based on the D point in the harmonic pattern, they can identify the potential reversal zone or PRZ and enter a buy or sell trade in the market. In the settings section, under the Input tab, there are options available for us. In the first part, we can set the minimum wavelength based on the zigzag indicator in this section, which is set to 5 by default. The zigzag indicator has 3 parameters, the first, second, and third parameters. Here, we can adjust the first parameter, while the other 2 parameters, which are both set to 3, are hard-coded into the calculations for identifying this pattern. In the next section, we can set the number of candles to be used for identifying and analyzing Fibonacci ratios, which is set to 100 by default. For example, here, after identifying point D, it moves 100 candles backward and searches for point C based on the Fibonacci ratios. Again, from point C, it examines 100 candles and looks for point B. From point B, it searches backward 20 candles to identify point A, and finally, it looks for point X. In the end, it draws the harmonic pattern for us. In the next section, we can enable or disable the display of the harmonic pattern lines. In the following section, we can enable or disable the break pivot option. If this option is enabled, it ignores pivot breaks and draws the pattern for us. If I set this option to false, in the section below, we can adjust the ratio of the distance between the harmonic pattern pivot and the break pivot. By default, it is set to 100 pipettes, and as we can see here, it did not identify this pattern for us and only recognized and displayed on the chart the pattern that has a more precise ratio for us. In the next section, we can adjust the shift option, which is set to 2 by default. We can use this option as a confirmation for the harmonic pattern. For example, here, after point D is formed and the candle closes, it moves forward by 2 candles and then examines the harmonic pattern. If I set this option to 0, the harmonic pattern will be checked and displayed on the chart as soon as the D point candle closes. In the next 2 sections, we can enable or disable the display of bullish and bearish harmonic patterns. We can choose the drawing style of the pattern from 5 modes: solid, dash dot, dash dash, dash dot dot, and dash dot dash. In the next section, we can set the thickness of the lines, and if we set this option to a value greater than 1, the indicator will automatically display the lines as solid. And in the last section, we can change the color of the bearish harmonic pattern, the color of the bullish harmonic pattern, and the label color for the harmonic pattern ratios to any color we like. Be sure to note that in the MetaTrader 5 platform, the first 2 options are different for us, and the second option is recognized as a pivot instead of a candlestick. For example, in the MetaTrader 4 platform, in this section, it calculates based on candlesticks, meaning it moves 100 candlesticks backward from point D and looks to identify the Fibonacci ratio of point C. But in the MetaTrader 5 platform, if you enter the number 10 in this section, it checks 10 pivots backward and looks to identify point 30, from 30 to 40, from 40 to 80, and likewise from 80, it moves 10 pivots backward and identifies point X as described. Also, keep in mind that if you set larger values for the first and second options, the identified harmonic patterns will also be larger patterns, which means they will span a greater range and may be more complex. If you want it to identify and display more proportionate, balanced patterns for you, it's generally better to enter smaller values here, as this will help the system focus on finding patterns that are more closely aligned with your expectations. Well friends, we've reached the end of this indicator tutorial. We would be glad if you share your comments and suggestions with us in the comment section.